are just hours away from the end of all DEI programs in those dedicated departments in the federal government. The Office of Personnel Management is set at 5 p.m. Eastern to meet the deadline for all government agencies to close those offices, and the employees, for at least the time being, will be on paid administrative leave. That follows President Trump's executive orders to bring an end to DEI and to make America merit-based. So he's going to do that at the federal level and restore the importance of our individual efforts within the workforce. During his inaugural address, President Trump made very clear his intentions to create a colorblind society.
I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. We will forge a society that is colorblind and merit-based.
Yesterday, the president signed an executive order ending Biden's, quote, forced, illegal, and immoral discrimination, end quote, in the federal workforce and directing the government to serve every person with equal dignity and respect. However, liberal leaders are up in arms about the idea of merit-based society. Here's the Reverend Al Sharpton.
Why do we have DEI? We had DEI because you denied us diversity. You denied us equity. You denied us inclusion. DEI was a remedy to the racial institutional bigotry practiced in academia and in these corporations. Now you want to put us back in the back of the bus. We're going to do the Dr. King Rosa Parks on you.
And The View co-host Sunny Hostin launched her own attack.
And thinking about that, and Donald Trump saying things that this country would be a meritocracy, you're talking about a man who didn't become the president of the United States because of merit. He hasn't had he had no political experience whatsoever. He had no business experience. He was given everything that he has. He is a legacy hire. He is, if anything, a DEI hire, a didn't earn it hire.
I'm just, my head is spinning. Ben, where is your Sunny Hostin and Reverend Sharpton decoder ring?
Yeah, I think you look at Al Sharpton, this is like, all right, I'm going to get my network back going. I'm going to raise some money. This is a great moment for me. I go back to Martin Luther King because he quotes Martin Luther King like he's on Martin Luther King's side. He's the exact opposite. Martin Luther King said, I have a dream that for my 4 children, 4 little children, we will one day live in a nation where we will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by their character. That is exactly what the president is now saying. We don't need a melting pot that you organize in some liberal woke agenda where you say, how many transgenders do we need? How many gays? How many straights? How many African Americans? How many Asian Americans? He's saying we're going back to merit base. We want to look at Americans not based on do you fill a quota for this country or for our business, but instead we choose you because you're the best person to do the job regardless of the color of your skin. Al Sharpton needs to go back and watch that speech.
Yeah. So the way I look at this too, Cheryl, is everything that Ben just said, and I would add this, it also requires that you do your job.
Yes.
And part of your character be work ethic. All of the things together, and when you don't, they get rid of you.
Yeah.
And DEI promises that what? You get to keep the job forever?
Read the EO. It's right here, folks. This is the EO. Here you go. Reward individual initiative, skills, performance, and hard work.
Merit-based.
Why is that controversial? Did Al Sharpton not read the executive order? Pretty sure he didn't because he thought about fundraising. But let me tell you something. We saw this in corporate America. We've talked about this already, guys. We saw Amazon and Walmart and Meta, John Deere, Harley, excuse me, that's their ticker. They all started to get rid of DI initiatives a year ago because it didn't make sense. If you look at a report from 2022 when the Biden administration actually put down these policies, and this was about, let me give you the direct quote. This is about making sure that there was, gender equality, gender markers, pronouns, transgender, nonconforming, non-binary, all of that. Another report in 2024 back and looked at if it was successful, and it wasn't. There were minor changes in federal employee and employment stats. It was a waste of money and a waste of time,
destroying
guys.
business.
That's
Kelly,
what I'm saying.
what really stands out to me as the former child of a military family. I don't know if this yet touches the federal government and the U.S. military part of it, because DEI is something, and a woke agenda is something that you heard Pete Hegseth and a lot of people talking about during his confirmation hearings, and how that has held back in some cases our ability to really be ready militarily.
It's such an important point. And in fact, what we saw is DEI, the DOD, Department of Defense, spent $68 million on it. And that number went up to $114 million by the end of Biden's presidency. Department of Education spent $1 billion with a B. But what is so insidious to me in that executive order you have there, it begins by talking about Executive Order 13985. That was one of the first acts of Biden as president. It was a DEI executive order. We were all sitting here on this couch for 2 years talking about critical race theory. And then it was actually Governor DeSantis' office that said there's this new term, it's DEI. We weren't even talking about it, right? Yeah. But it goes back to day one of Biden's presidency. He had everyone submit equity plans, every department. So you think they're focusing on China and Russia at the Pentagon. No, they're focusing on equity. This was this man's priority, and no wonder we're all messed up as a country right now.
So what Trump is doing is replacing the word equity with equality, which is where, I mean, equality,
what a great idea.
You get the opportunity, you have to earn keeping it.
So what is one of the big problems in our country right now? Our institutions, including the federal government, don't have the respect of people. This will help reinstall the respect of people and respect for people who hold those positions, those government jobs, who are racial minorities, right? As soon as you know the rules have changed and people are getting hired because they deserve the job, guess what? I think the respect for those institutions will rise.
All right, make America merit-based again. Yes. Too many letters, but you get it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.